All right, what is good? I'm back again. It's your host, AgentR. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is in the world. Thank you for joining. This morning, we're going to do something a little different because there was a leak. You know, there's a leaky faucet, it seems, for Konami. And so we're going to check this out. It is for the supposedly the new mini box forthcoming. And of course, the same individual who has been leaking some of the previous information did so for this mini box as well. But it seems like we're going to be able to bring back an old friend to this meta just in time for the KC Grand Tournament, no less. But before we hop in, I want to give shout outs to Jaden, Rosemary, Marai, and SJ123 for your subscriptions to the channel. It's much love, much appreciated. Thank you so much for allowing this channel to grow. And stay tuned this week. I have some more shorts that I'm releasing. I love doing the shorts. I just like highlighting interesting interactions in the game per se. But I will upload some of the gameplay from hitting King Games with the 6 Samurai Zexal Evolution, I think is the one I used. I had an amazing time. I rarely, if ever, try to cog. Like I'll hit Legend, and I'll just move on to playing different games. But I had such fun playing this version of 6 Samurai that we just went all the way and hit King Games. It was really good, pretty smooth. So I'll be uploading that those gameplays and some other stuff with rocks from the event, fiends, all that good stuff here on the AgentR channel. Now let's hop over. Actually, we're not in Duel Links this morning. We are in yugioh Omega because we want to be able to kind of think about putting some of these decks together. Any ideas that come to mind, any ideas that come to your mind, feel free to drop that in the chat and we'll just go from there. So yeah, the program you're looking at is yugioh Omega. Is on PC. It is a free program for Duel Links, in particular for TCG play, but they have a nice section in here for speed duels with Duel Links and the skills and all that good stuff. So for instance, like Spammer's Mind is the deck that I use in Duel Links. So when we double click on it, so my deck is right here, and it has the breakdown of normals, effect monsters, rituals, spells, and traps. And then you have the skill that is added as extra cards. So it's a 20 card deck. And then the skill makes it 21. And then I have my extra deck in here. So don't particularly know how to go up against anybody in here. Most people don't use this to actually play unless they're testing within like a Discord or something like that. But this is where we're gonna do some deck building ideas, essentially. All right, so give me just a sec. I'm gonna hop over, and we're just gonna go. We'll use this to take a look at the stuff. How about that? So actually, let me get this ready. And then I think Konami's website will just pull it up. Yeah. All right. We vibing this morning. I love this song. Okay, so let's switch us over to the desktop only, and let's hop over here and go straight to the horse's mouth, as they say. Let's start from the bottom up. So, ominous fortune telling. I could have swore we had that in the game. It says, during your standby phase, select one random card from your opponent's hand. Call the type of card. If you call it right, inflict 700 points of damage to your opponent's life points. You can use this effect only once per turn. So bringing it in Duel Links, this would be what, 350 points of damage. Yeah, no. Just off the top, no. Full salvo. When this card resolves, send your entire hand to the graveyard. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card sent to the graveyard by this effect. So I imagine they would just, I guess, cut that down to 100 as well, just in sticking to their rule set that they have for just cutting all life point damage in half. They've been doing that for a while now, but I'm trying to think of in a particular situation, just off the top, when you would use this. I mean, it is a trap. It's not a bad trap. I mean, if you were just trying to ditch cards to the graveyard that otherwise would get there, I suppose. Like, say if you had this in, well, I mean, the deck is the deck is dead, but if you had this in like Shiranui, and you knew that you had the tuner in your hand, the spectral sword or something like that, instead of risking putting it on the field or whatever kind of stuff, you could just activate this in the end phase of your opponent's turn and send it there for safekeeping. I mean, it's slow, but I mean, I'm sure there's always a way to play with the deck. You know what I mean? Oops. So. Full salvo. It's an old card too. Mech Lord Factory. Did I spell Mech Lord wrong? Let's see. I don't think so. Alright. When a Mech Lord monster on the field is targeted for an attack, target one Mech Lord army monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand, then destroy the attack target. Okay. Normal trap. Alright, so Mech Lord monster. Got it. Alright. So it's a trade. Destroy, get back, but you already have something in the graveyard. So that's where this full salvo. Just thinking of if you were just trying to build a box, I mean, build a deck base out of the box, the Mech Lord Factor and the full salvo are already kind of working together. albeit slow. Boon of the Mech Lord Emperor. If the only face-up monsters on the field are 2 Mech Lord monsters, draw 2 cards. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Okay. So off the top, they must have some kind of, one of the monsters is going to be able to special summon. Like, so like say if you had turn 1, some turn 1 Mech Lord setup, and you summon 2 Mech Lord monsters to the field, then activate this card, and it's a free pot of greed in a way. Because you can't conduct your battle phase. I like draw power. It just seems like it locks you into... Ooh, cool, down here. Seems like it locks you into some Mech Lord cards that you otherwise might not want to play. But it gives you draw power. So I'm always interested in those kind of cards. Not bad. Reboot. Like from Cartoon Network. Shuffle 1 Mech Lord monster from your hand into the deck. Then target 1 Mech Lord card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. Huh. So isn't that a -1? Because you're trading 2 cards. This reboot's going to the graveyard, the Mech Lord's going to the hand, and then you're grabbing the Mech Lord out of the graveyard. That could be good if they out say like a Mech Lord Emperor somehow, and it's put in the graveyard, and then you can potentially grab it back and set up another play to special summon it back to the field. So I could see what they're wanting to do with that. Let me see here. Morphtronic Rusty Engine. Alright, so we got some Morphtronic stuff in here. Equip only to a Morphtronic monster. If the equipped monster is destroyed, inflict damage to each player equal to its original attack. So that's probably going to be half. So if it's just destroyed, period, by battle, artifact, inflict damage equal to half its original attack, most likely. Huh. None of the Morphtronics are big. Yeah, none of them are big bodies like that. It's interesting. All right, let's go to Morphtronic Datatron. The USB stick? Can I click on this? Is it just the same image? Oh, okay. All right. Fire level 3. Our first monster, the Pyro. Why is it not just a machine, Konami? Why is it a Pyro? Oh man, this is part of what like has hurt Morphtronic in the long run. Like these like weird, like this just needs to be a machine. Like they all need to just be machines. Anyway, 1200 attack and 600 defense. While in attack position, once per turn, you contribute one monster to inflict 600 damage to your opponent. While in defense position, once per turn, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent. Let's hop over to Mr. Meta here. Is this card not in? No, it is new. So it's not even in Duel Links yet. Huh. So it'll be 300. While in defense position, once per turn, you can inflict 150. This is the thing. Like, these small amounts of damage, like just offhand, there's no way that this actually does a lot of damage as far as like loops and stuff like that. Even if you put them at 3, I don't think you would ever run 3 of this. But I mean, 300 damage after tributing a monster, or 150 damage while it's in defense. It's not apparent to me like exactly what I would use this with. Okay, to make sure. Yeah, that's a no. Ebon Arrow. Select one face-up monster you control. Until the end phase, it loses 500 attack. And during battle between that attacking monster and a defense position monster whose defense is lower, the inflicted difference is battle damage, so it's piercing damage. Okay. When the selected monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard this turn, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original defense. So again, I mean, for this to, you would have to have a pretty powerful monster, right? Like, say if you were swinging into Super Heavy Samurai Stealth Ninja. It's got like 2800 defense, right? What's up, Malachi? So you would need, let's see, 3400. You would need at least a 3400 attack monster. Then it would lose 500 attack, and then you would swing in, because it would have 2900 attack, and you would swing into the Stealth Ninja, right? And then you would inflict 100 damage as piercing damage. This card says inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original defense, which would make sense. But they said that they are taking that damage and cutting it in half. So now it doesn't even get its original kind of effect. Like which one does that? One of the Cyber Angels does this, and then you inflict the damage with the defense. If this card gets cut down on its damage, it's already a trap, so it's slow. But if the damage is cut in half, it's worthless. What's my favorite card so far? We're getting to it, but it's actually the Mech Lord Emperor. That thing is gonna be, I honestly think that card is going to help change the meta. At the very least, slow it down. That is my favorite one. My second favorite is actually tuning. the spell card. Tuning is nice. That's Black Thunder. Activate only when a Blackwing monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card your opponent controls. Yeah, I don't see any Blackwing. I don't see any Blackwing player playing this card either. I mean, at most, if you had a full board, it would deal 1200 damage. And honestly, if you're outing a Blackwing board, you're probably swinging for lethal, to be honest. Like, I don't see it. It's a filler card. Yeah, the game just moves too fast for Black Thunder. Blackwing, Etesian of 2 Swords. Alright, so it's a level 3. If a Blackwing monster you control battles an opponent's monster, and your opponent still controls that monster at the end of the damage step, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and inflict 500 damage to your opponent. That's pretty fun. It's gonna be it's gonna be 500 damage again because they're gonna cut it in half. 1,000 damage is ridiculous. That actually would have been pretty fun. You wouldn't even necessarily. No, that would have been actually pretty fun interactions, because it's not runaway that people use this card on ladder, but I do. But if you ever run into a hollowed life barrier, which, I mean, you can find it in any kind of deck, but I've been seeing it lately in Blue Eyes. Imagine swinging, like, what if you had 3 of these in your hand and you swing in and they activate a hollowed life barrier? There's no restriction on this card, so you could like ditch all 3, because Blackwing can collect. The Blackwing deck can collect cards, so you just send all 3 of them to the graveyard to inflict 3,000 damage to your opponent. That would have been hilarious. That'll be hilarious. I've never played Blackwing in Duel Links, but I'm actually a fan of effect damage. Going into this box, I would probably try to get, well, it won't be hard. You can get like 3 copies of this and try to spam somebody out for some damage. Have you taken a look at what's in the box so far? What's supposedly in the box? Uh-oh, normal. Turtle bird. This thing is a level 6. Okay. Yeah, this is a throwback card here. Look. Promotional cards. 2002. You can tell. You can so tell. Look at this. It is a level 6 aqua, 1900 attack and 1700 defense. An unusual turtle that not only swims at tremendous speeds, but can also sail across the skies. This is Konami. This is Yu-Gi-Oh at its finest right here. This thing looks wild. Like, a lot of these monsters back then, like, their stats were trash. But these actually look like some terrible monsters. They've gone away from this, but that's a crazy looking monster, man. A level 6 Aqua, man. Fiend Scorpion. See, another one. 2004. Actually, I had this card back in the day. I remember this. I bought Ancient Sanctuary. Level 2 Earth Insect. A huge scorpion inhabited by the soul of a fiend. Wow. Usually it holds back, but has untapped potential. Why is it untapped? Oh man. I think it looks gnarly. Yeah, we're not doing anything with that either. Okay. Last of the supposed normals. Armored Starfish. Oh! Yep, another 2002 card. What? Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon pack. Misty would be proud. 850 attack and 1400 defense. A bluish, it's looking very green to me, but a bluish starfish with a solid hide capable of fending off attacks. This is like, all these cards takes me back. I forgot how many cards are in Yu-Gi-Oh now, but I know it's over 10K. The majority of which are like armored starfish. Oh, level 4. These cards do take me back. All right, we're good. We're done with those. Let's go to the rare. Bird of Paradise Lost. That looks cool. It's a worm. A level 8. Sheesh. A level 8 tuner. What the? This card gains 100 attack and defense for each tuner monster in your graveyard. Okay. Oh, it's 2700 attack. Once per turn, you can send one tuner monster from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase. Wow. So, okay. It's a worm. 2700 attack, 1500 defense. I'm trying to think. Like, if you could spam this out relatively quickly. I don't know a lot of cards that we have necessarily with worms, but you could potentially OTK with this, because if it's a level 8, so if you run, no, because it is a tuner, then target one monster. I can't think. Is there the Xyz? Let's go back to Rapiers. You can banish one dragon and one worm from your graveyard or summon. Nah, it's a level 4. All right, never mind. That doesn't work. This is 2015. I can't think of one thing that I would do with that. Because you'd have to, you definitely want to get this on the field fast somehow. Worm, a Are there any worm? Celestia? No. We don't even have. Is this the first worm card? When this card is special summoned, you can target one worm type monster in your graveyard, except Magma Dragon. Special summon it in defense, but its effects are negated. You can only use this effect of Magma Dragon once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except worm types. Okay, but that's a level 4. That's a level 4. So if you brought this back, its effects would be negated, and then it would be in defense. So no, it doesn't. Yeah, we need more worms. That doesn't work at all. All right, moving on. Red Nova. When did this come out? 2016. Okay. So this is after my time. If a level 8 or higher dragon synchro monster is on the field, okay, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Red Nova once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon that uses 2 or more tuner monsters as material, you can special summon one Fire Fiend monster from your deck. Okay, so that is for the Red Nova Dragon. And then you summon another Fire Fiend. So we have a lot of them. Sheesh. What did I say again? In defense. All right. No. Okay. Let's start from here. What would I summon in defense like that? Is there anything that we would actually benefit from? No. Because you would have a Red Nova Dragon on the field. No. Nope. I mean, there's Red Sprinter, but I don't necessarily. You wouldn't necessarily just summon it. There's Red Warg. You could get life points back. No, that's yeah. Red Resonator, maybe. Yeah, that's no. It's locking you into the archetype, so there's not really a push you could do. Yeah, not sure about that effect of the card, if that's even worthwhile, but it's there. Chain Resonator. to light. 100 stats. When this card is normal summoned while a synchro monster is on the field, so that's anywhere, you can special summon one Resonator monster from your deck, except Chain Resonator. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Ideally, it would be your synchro, but so you could, all of these are kind of set up to go into the Red Nova dragon. So weird they made it a light though. All right, power break. Activate only while you control a face-up power tool dragon. Select up to 3 equipped cards on your side of the field and or in your graveyard. Okay. And return into the deck. Inflict 250 damage to your opponent for each card returned. Okay. Okay. So 750, and it's a trap card. I mean, you are returning them to the deck, I suppose, which is that's not bad in and of itself. But you're not drawing any of them either, so you're putting them back and slowing down your draw potential. And usually if you have Power Tool Dragon and all the equips are in the graveyard, that means your Power Tool got outed. So off top of my head, nah. Alright. Morphtronic Magnin. Did we not have this one either? Close. Wow. There's a bunch of these we didn't have. All right, well, it has 800 as its base stats. Earth level 3, while in attack position. If your opponent controls a face-up monster, this card can only select their highest attack monster as an attack target. Excuse me? While in defense position, your opponent cannot select another monster as an attack target. Oh, okay, so it's the Magnin lock from the anime. If you have 2 of these face up on the field, then essentially your opponent can't attack. Got it. The only card in the game that we currently have that does this, I think, is Magician's Valkyria. It has much better stats, but it's locked to spellcasters. So this one just says if you have 2 in defense, it doesn't matter what the other monster is. But with Magician's Valkyria, it's 1600 attack and 1800 defense. But they prevent you from attacking other spellcasters. So you're locked into that archetype essentially to get that effect, but it will prevent your opponent from attacking. I mean, I suppose if you did that and then you had Magician's or Magical Blast, you could hit up your opponent for effect damage, and during your draw phase, you can pick it back out of the graveyard as the card you draw and then keep hitting them for the damage. So you could lock it that way. Actually, that's not a bad idea. if you put oh man, what's the name? The Kiwi Magician, I believe it is. If you have one of those on the field and then you have 2 Magician's Valkyria, they prevent attacks, and then The Kiwi prevents... I know it prevents destruction, but I don't think you can target either. Yeah, spellcaster type monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent cannot target them with card effects. So, say if you were going up against Harpies, and you had Kiwi Magician Girl on board with Magician's Valkyrias, there's nothing that they can't attack, and they can't target, so they can't bounce anything back. They just sit there on the board, and then you run something like Magical Blast. There it is. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each spellcaster monster you control. So it's 600 damage. During your draw phase, if this card is in your graveyard, before you draw, you can give up your normal draw. And if you do, add this card to your hand. That's hilarious. I actually got to try that. Oh, man. Just spam it out. Oh, and you would, yeah, I might just go ahead and build that. You would run Super Team Buddy Force Unite. And this is how you get them out relatively quickly. So there's no attacking, there's no targeting. And they can't be destroyed. And then you just lock them in and just have 3 of these in your deck, I suppose. Because it's not limited on the amount of times you can use it in a turn. So that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Magnan, you have given me an idea for something totally not related to Morphtronic. Wow. Let me write that down. Note. Let's see. And then I should go blast. Super Team Buddy Force Unite. That's hilarious. All right. Morphtronic Clocken. 600 attack, 1100 defense. See, there we go. A machine. They all should be a machine, man. So while in attack position, this card gains 500 attack for each morph counter on it. And while in defense position, once per turn, you can place 1 morph counter on this card. You contribute this card to inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each morph counter on it. All right. So that's what it's going to be in Duel Links. Oh, I see. I see. Was Magnan is Thunder? Are you serious? Okay. This they don't allow you to set up these crazy boards because they're doing this kind of stuff. But essentially, you would use the Clocken in the middle. You use the Magnan on either side so that it can't be attacked. You leave Morphtronic Clocken in defense, so then that you can place these counters on it, and then you tribute it off while it has its counters, and then you win the duel through effect damage. Now they turn this from 4 turns into 8 turns, so the likelihood of that happening in Duel Links is little. That was going to be an interesting way to play, but they killed it before it even got started. Morphtronic Boom Boxing. All right, level 4 Earth Machine, 1200 and 400 for base stats. While in attack position, this card can attack twice during each battle phase. Once per turn. While in defense, when a face-up Morphtronic monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can simply negate it. Okay. So its stats aren't all that impressive, but Morphtronic runs runs a lot of equips. So there's one. And while equipped, it gains 1,000 attack. If it attacks, any effects of the attack target are negated. So that this card makes it 2,400. During your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot select a monster other than the equipped monster as an attack target. And that monster is destroyed in damage stat. Okay. I mean, this raises it by 1,000. Then there's Power of the Guardians. You can pretty much get near lethal using the equips by itself on boomboxing. I like that. It gives you an alt win con. Morphtronic Borden. What is this supposed to be? I'm like, what is this card? All right, level 3 Earth Machine. 500 to 1800 base stats. While in attack position, Morphtronic monsters you control can attack your opponent directly. While in defense, other Morphtronic monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay. I like the direct attack situation. And mind you, with Morphtronic, they have a field spell where you can, I think, just switch the attack. You can switch the battle positions of these monsters on the board. Mechlord. Mechlord Fortress. Oh, it's a field. Neither player can target Mechlord the Emperor monsters you control with Synchro monster effects. Yo, so even if they I'm just thinking of Cyber / Harpy. If you had this on the board, it couldn't even target it. Or Vermillion, it wouldn't be able to target either. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add one Mechlord Emperor monster from your deck to your hand. So it's another searcher, essentially. Sheesh. I didn't even know about this. Wow, this deck is going to have a lot of search power. That's crazy. They re-released this last year. All right, so I like Mechlord Fortress. That's pretty cool. It's a searcher more than anything. The Resolute Mechlord Army. All attack position Mechlord army monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, their effects are negated. I don't think anybody's gonna be too concerned about the mech lord getting destroyed, so I don't see this card getting a lot of mileage. And Duel Links anyway, you don't. I mean, there's so many ways to get it back, and for 20 cards, the consistency, even if you put 2 in your deck with that field spell, you just be able to draw it again. So nah, I don't see anybody playing that one really. Mech Lord Army of Weisel. Alright. 1800 0 Dark Machines, baby. Dark Machines. Gains 100 attack for each Mech Lord monster on the field, except this card. Once per turn, when another Mech Lord monster you control declares an attack on a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. It's a weird little sharing of power, but it's a dark machine, so there's its plus. What about the rest of these? Mech Lord Army of Skill. Okay, so it's, yeah, that's right. These are skills win monsters. 1200, 1000. Gains 200 attack for each Mech Lord monster on the field except this card. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Mech Lord Army monster from your deck. That's pretty cool. And now our Earth Machine, Mech Lord Army of Grenell. This one gains 100 attack. As well, when this card is normal summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Cut that attack in half until the end of this turn. Sheesh. That is actually pretty nuts. So it's an Earth Machine. I would want to see this in a Machina. I would want to see this in a Machina deck, because you can normal summon this and cut a monster in half, and then special summon your Machina Fortress, and then stay within the machine archetype. That's pretty cool. Well, I'm gonna have some pretty interesting builds that I want to try out of those. Now let's go to the SRs. These were all right. The Morphtronic stuff were the most interesting out of here. Yeah. Stardust Wish. Once per turn, if a Stardust Synchro monster you control is tributed to activate its own effect, except during the damage step. That's important. You can target that monster, special summon it. Wow. Just don't even wait for the end phase. Gotcha. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Monsters special summoned by this effect cannot be destroyed by battle while in attack position. So it's like, it's focused on destruction. So what would be really interesting, I'm not saying this is going to be the case at all, but what would be really interesting is if Mech Lord takes off in such a way, as far as the destruction capability, that it forces bringing a card like Stardust into play. Because right now, nobody plays Stardust. So this trap card would allow you to essentially negate destruction, put your monster back on the board, and then use it as a wall against your field being destroyed by battle. and it does not negate the Stardust. So you put the Stardust back on the board, and it can activate its effect to negate once again. That's pretty wild, actually. It's a nice turn one setup, quite honestly. But we are in a meta where destruction as it is right now isn't prevalent. It's the it's the bounce effect from Harpies. Well, I won't say that, because you do have, it's kind of 50-50, because Harpies and Blue Eyes are still the main two decks, and one bounces and the other one destroys. So running a card like this, if you are playing with Stardust, is a 50-50 toss up. So I think the meta would have to develop a little more before you would commit to a card like this. But essentially it would be two Stardust negates with this one trap card. Actually, it wouldn't even be that. It's a continuous trap. So as many times as they would activate within one turn, you would just be able to target that Stardust and bring it back. Oh man, so through card effect, through card effect destruction, the negation, this card uses Stardust as a way to be Scrap Iron Scarecrow. That's what this card does. And then they just swing at you with a Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. All right, tuning. One of the most OP spells. Add one Syncron tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So you get a mill. You can add one and get a mill. It's not quite our Light Sworn. It's not quite the Light Sworn play, but that's actually a good thing. That last card, by the way, came out in 2019. But this one will allow you to grab any Syncron tuner, and there are quite a few of them, actually. And then mill one, so that gives you a little more control. I'm gonna put tuner. I don't know why they put righty and lefty. That don't count. Rise Syncron, Jet Syncron, Turbo, Hyper, Fluor, Quick Draw, Road, Nitro, Junk, Mock, Unknown, Changer, like, yeah. So 13 monsters benefit from this one. 13 monsters benefit from one card. This is a powerful card. We'll have to get into some ways on how to use this thing in particular. But you can, I mean, if you're looking for synchro into like a Vermillion, or messing with like level 7 monsters to go into level 8, the easiest thing for me that's splashable in most decks is going to be Jet Syncron. because it's level 1. Yeah, Jet Syncron. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So you can mill from the deck and then send from your hand, and then put this on the board. And say if you were, what's his name? Rock keyboard. Not Syncron. All right, where is he? There he is. Sulcus, I think. Yeah. So you have a couple of plays. Like if you have Jet, you can take Jet, put it on the board, and then send your fabled Sulcus to the graveyard. And if you have the cards, you can send 2 cards from your hand and then summon the Sulcus from the graveyard to the field. And then you have a level 6 and a level 1 for a 7 synchro. So, name whichever synchro you have at level 7, but that is a play. That was just an example of how flexible Jet Syncron is, and then just being able to add it to your hand with tuning. Pretty powerful. Resonator Call. Yes. Add 1 Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. It's that simple. Such consistency. Now, you're going to have to deal with the deck itself. You know what I mean? If you're going to do it for RDA. But this is a consistency generator right here. Resonator Call this is amazing. So tuning and Resonator Call are finally added to Duel Links. So hopefully we see a lot more of Syncron, RDA, Resonator type of stuff, shenanigans happening at least on the ladder. Crimson Resonator. This came out in 2020. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay. Already that's nice. If the only other monster you control is exactly 1 Dark Dragon Synchro monster, you can special summon up to 2 Resonator monsters from your hand or deck, except Crimson Resonator. You can only use each effect once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Dark Dragon Synchro monsters the turn you activate either of this card's effects. Okay. So they do lock you in, unfortunately. But we do have a couple of Dark Dragon Synchros, like Dark End Dragon, Doom Kaiser. I think it's Doom Kaiser Dragon. I think is Scrap Dragon Dark? Or is this? I think that's a machine actually, but no. Red Dragon Archfiend. So it locks you in. 800, 300. I like it though. Especially if you're just, I mean, you're not gonna feel this effect down here if you're specifically summoning for RDA. So that's a nice card. Yoko Tuner. Really? What the? Level 1 Beast Tuner. 800 to 600. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 tuner from your hand or graveyard, but it has its effects negated. Okay. Look at this art, man. Is that a cat on here? Man, I'll have to find a use for this just because of the artwork alone. Alright, when it's normal summon, special summon 1 tuner from hand or graveyard. I'm thinking too high. I need to come down. Maybe this is more useful with like level 5, 4, 5, and 6 synchros. Who plays this? 2021? Do they really have this in here? Oh Lord. What are they summoning with this? Oh, they have Formula Syncron. Psy-Frame Lord Omega. Stardust Warrior. Stardust Dragon. Red Resonator. Ooh, Debris Dragon. Okay. So there's your 5. But we don't have him. That means we must be getting ready to get a different type of card to make the most use of it. Doesn't seem like everything is here yet. Fortissimo, the Mobile Fortress. Once per turn, you can special summon one Mech Lord army monster from your hand. Field spell, okay. Alright, that's not bad. I think the other field spell will get more mileage. But Mech Lord Emperor Weisel. Let's wait. I'm gonna wait on him because he's the reason that I'm even doing this morning. Armory Arm. The Machine Synchro. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners once per turn. You can either target one monster on the field, equip this card to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it in attack position. While equipped by this effect, that target gains 1,000 attack. If that target destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. This right here is what I'm going to be spending my time in Duel Links trying to see if there's any interaction in Duel Links that we can break the game with this. So as you can see, this is all the way back here in 09. What you would do with this is, let's close this out. Come on. My guy, Colossal Fighter. Okay. So, Colossal Fighter says this card gains 100 attack for every warrior type monster in any graveyard. Okay. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one warrior type monster in either graveyard. Special summon that target. Okay. So what you would do with the Colossal Fighter is summon Colossal Fighter, and then you would go and equip Armory Arm. While equipped by this effect, it gains 1,000 attack. If that target destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster. You would take Armory Arm, you would summon Colossal Fighter and equip Armory Arm to your opponent's monster. This is 2,800 attack. You would swing in and the Colossal Fighter would get destroyed, but Armory Arm equipped to your opponent's monster would deal the 2,800. See this? Equal to the attack of the destroyed monster. But then it says you can target one warrior type monster in either graveyard. Colossal Fighter is a warrior. Special summon that target. And then guess what? Armory arm is still on the field because it's equipped to your opponent's monster. Target one monster on the field. And so you would just loop that, and then you would win the matchup in that battle phase. Now they did change the effect so that the Colossal Fighter had to resolve on the field that effect, so that when it went to the graveyard, they essentially stopped the loop from happening. The only way to continue doing that in the game was if you already had Colossal Fighter in the graveyard. We don't have Colossal Fighter, so the goal would be to try to see how this card can be abused by a different setup within Duel Links. So that is the mission. Like, what card can essentially keep returning after battle damage is what we'll have to kind of loop around and figure out. Ally of Justice Catastor. The Dark Machine Synchro of level 5, 2200, 1200 attack. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a face-up non-dark monster, you simply pop the monster. That's not bad. And it's level 5. I'm not big on synchro in my machine builds, but this, I mean, you can out pretty much anything you want if it gets to swing. The only weakness is that you have to actually commit to a battle, but it will automatically destroy it. So I do enjoy that aspect of it. How do you even pronounce this word? Okay, I can't hear you at all. All right, do that again. Cthulhu. Okay, so he's saying Cthulhu. Okay. Old entity Cthulhu. I'm gonna go with that. It's a pyro. It's a pyro in the true sense of pyro. It has 200 defense. All right, so Synchro Effect. Level 4. If this card is synchro summoned, you can return all rank 4 exceeds monsters on the field to the extra deck. That's hilarious. If you fusion summon using this card as fusion material, you get to draw a card. An exceeds monster that was summoned using this card on the field as exceeds material gains this effect. If it is exceeds summoned, draw a card. So it's like draw 2. Huh. What? It's level 4. What is a level 1? What's a level 3? Pyro. Just curious. Ooh, okay, volcanic counter. Laval lady, lakeside lady. So that's a level 3. So a Flameville archer. Seems like lavals are gonna be the way. Burning algae. I do like the volcanic, I gotta say. And I do have Berlinith, the Firestorm Vassal. All right, so Flame Veils are definitely. We don't have Prank Kid, okay. Raging Flame Sprite, Invasion of Flames. If I were just gonna think about abusing the Pyro setup, then I would want to stick with cards that help do that. That's actually a pretty interesting setup. Old entity. This could get some mileage. I mean, there are a lot of good rank 4 exceeds that are taking place right now. Unfortunately, a lot of them can't use rekindling. Whoops. 13, 6, 15. We're looking for rekindling candidates. The only ones, yeah. Flame Veil. Raging Flame Sprite. Yeah. Looks like that's going to be the only thing, unfortunately. You definitely want to run that with something that can use it because... What is it at? It's got the 200 attack that makes it a candidate for the rekindling. So then if this is in a graveyard, then you can just bring it back and then you can loop this. So I'll have to try to think about whether I want to stick this straight in Pyro and it be the only card that can take advantage of the rekindling or not, because you know you can't stick this in Fire King because they don't have a tuner. All right, let me go to this Weisel. Nice. Now, so we're a dark level 1 with 2,500 attack and defense. It trips me out that this is level 1, but it cannot be normal summoned or set. Got it. Must be special summoned by its own effect. All right, so what is that? Well, when a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of the monsters equipped to it by this effect. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell card, you can negate the activation if you do destroy it. So this is why I said it's a harpy killer. First, once per turn, when they activate a spell card when it's on the board, you just negate it. So you negate the first Elegant Egotism, right? I say the first one because they're probably gonna have another one. It's okay. And then you can target, if you're going second, of course, you can target the Synchro and you can absorb it, and then it gains that attack. So what's that, 5,100 as a monster straight up from the Harpy? And then you can proc a special summon by a monster being destroyed on the board. And what we'll do is what I'm going to do after looking at the last cards here is I'm actually going to think of how to put together a deck that synergizes with Weisel. This is going to be an amazing card. And there are ways around the fact that it's the only one that can attack. Other monsters you control can't declare an attack. But there are ways around that. And what do we got here? So those are those. And now we're going into the last one. So let's start with Blackwing Armor Master. Maybe this is the revival of Blackwing. Who knows? All right. So it's 2,500 attack, 1,500 defense, a dark level 7. So it still fits within the Blackwing setup of being able to special summon multiple level 7 synchros. It can't be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster, you can place one wedge counter on that monster. You can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters. The attack and defense of those monsters that had wedge counters becomes 0 until the end of this turn. So it's a fair and balanced effect. It doesn't stay. It's something that you're definitely swinging in for, like a lethal in particular. But that's not hard for Blackwing to do. And it's not destroyed by battle. And then you have Yugioh, and then it's reviving, and it's using other things to be destroyed. The thing that will slow it down, I think, is I'm not sure if this is a quick effect or not. It says at the end of the damage step, you can put a wedge counter on it. Then you can remove that. Let me see. Let's hit up. Let's see if they have an FAQ for this. Did I go to the wrong thing? It's just gonna loop me back. I'm lost. I don't wanna search for dicks. Okay, so maybe I'm just lost on here. I mean, here it's like, show me. Deck search on a card list. Yeah, I have to look that up. For they don't have the ruling on it. Let me see. I don't think they'll have the answer. Go here. Oh, that's the wrong one. That might help me though. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. Do you have... Doesn't seem that anybody really cares about that in particular. All right, placing the wedge count does not target. All right, it doesn't seem to be a thing. So it seems like that effect is going to be too slow in Duel Links because we don't have a main phase 2. And it doesn't, the removal of it does not seem like a quick effect. Because I've never seen this actually done. I saw that's full armor. It says Armor Master, and there's all the rulings for the other one. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the not being destroyed by battle is a great effect, but I think putting them to 0 is not something that is going to happen during that same like phase, unfortunately. So it might be too slow. All right, TG Wonder Magician will be a nice addition to the game. With this card is Synchro Summon, target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. If this card on the field is destroyed, you get to draw a card, and then once per chain during your opponent's main phase. As a quick effect, you can Synchro Summon using this card you control. So it's just gonna add a little more board clearing and another, what's this, a level 5 to be able to go into to set up your Synchro Summons on the opponent's turn without necessarily having to rely on TG Star Guardian. There are a lot of fun combos to do with this card during Antiminy's event when you could use this card. So it's nice that they're actually bringing it in as a way for us to be able to have a bit more powerful of a board state. So I'm excited about that one too. And last is the actual boss monster of the box, I suppose. The Red Nova Dragon. 2 tuners and a Red Dragon Archfiend. Card gains 500 attack for each tuner monster in your graveyard. Cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effects. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target that monster, banish this card, and if you do, you negate the attack. During the next end phase, special summon this card banished by this effect. So stops an attack, banish it off the field. It gets a boost. It's already 3,500 attack, so it's one huge beat stick. And cannot be destroyed by card effects. Even this is definitely going to be situational. Because to me, I'm not as excited about Red Nova Dragon as I am for like the Resonator Call and the other cards. Because we already have the hot Red Archfiend Bane in the game, and you can summon it on the board with the tuners, and then you can also bring back a Red Dragon Archfiend so that you have a 3,500 and a 3,000 attack monster on board. But none of them can deal with being bounced or banished. That's the problem with the archetype itself for the RDA. So those are all of the cards. What I want to do with this remaining time is switch back to Omega. And I want to build me a new deck. That's just called Desperado. Now, actually, the one thing I didn't go over is in the game. If you go and look at some information, there's another event coming up that has Primo, and Primo is going to be the latest character starting on May the 19th, and he's going to bring with him some Weisel cards. So we have the Mechlor Emperor Weisel, but we're also going to be getting him as an event. Excuse me. Where is it? There it is. Let me switch back over for you for a second so you can see it on here. That huge thing. All right. Right here, mid-May. So we've already been in early May, the Bull Blader and all that stuff. So next thing up, the mission circuit and obtain a new legendary duelist. So we're gonna have a raid duel, and then the tournament celebration campaign. So there's a lot happening all at once, and it seems like even Axel is coming to the gate for those who have not gotten him yet. But it's this one right here. Team up with your friends and challenge the Mechlord Emperor to get the new UR Spark Breaker and the new SR Weisel Attack 3. We don't know how many we're getting at all. If it's 1, 2, or even 3 of these cards, but I'm gonna assume that they're gonna be 3 of. It says you can special summon this card from your hand by attributing 1 Weisel attack. If there's no face-up Mechlord Emperor on the field, destroy this card. It's a Dark Machine at level 3. If your Mechlord Emperor monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So we're gonna slide in this Weisel attack 3. And since they're Dark Machines, you know who we're going to. Desperado. We're gonna actually use life point boost alpha as the skill. They just have a Joey. Okay, let's add that as the skill because we're gonna be searching heavily for what we want. So next we're gonna look for Desperado, OCG, TCG. There's 3 of those. Then the difference between. Okay, so in here they don't have the difference of the card, but this one is more like plasma instead of it being an actual gun barrel, and the OCG has the gun barrel. What's Mechlord? We're gonna have 3 of these. Weisel attack 3. Let's see. Then they have DL because this Weisel attack 3 is a Duel Links unique specific card like Kiteroid. So like I said, there's no telling how many of these they actually give us. If they give us 3, this is going to be amazing. If they only give us 1 to 2, it kind of hurts the consistency a little bit, but you know. All right, so there's those 3. What we have 3, 3, and 3, so we have 9. Card of the Soul. And what else do we want to put in here? What else do we want to put in here? I know usually we would want to not super tame, super team. I might think of 2. Dark Illusion is probably what I really want in here. This card hasn't seen a lot of play right now, but this is a target heavy meta. So when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated that targets a dark monster on your field, you can negate it. And if you do, destroy the card. It's a counter trap. It's a powerful counter trap. And Blast Spider maybe. So this is how I would round it out. 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's move this over here to kind of organize this a little more. This is probably how I would let this look. I would rock it like this. Yeah. Until we can figure out what exactly is going on with the rest of like whatever his level up stuff is, because I haven't seen that anywhere. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Yeah, it doesn't look like. He's got some leaked skills in here, but there's nothing. There's nothing in here referring to like his actual card pool for the level up, from what I can see. The card of soul making one surgery. Yeah. Yeah, Brendan, it's in here. This is probably where I would put it right now. The trap cards can swing -1/+1 in favor of Super Team Buddy Force. And then, like I said, depending on it, you might even reduce some of it just to put like a searcher in here for the Desperado when it hits the graveyard. But I don't think it's so much of a goal in this version of it. And from there, I mean, what kind of, it's just rank 4s from there, right? Rank 4s or rank 3s? Well, not rank 3 because you wouldn't use it with the, its main purpose is just to go bye-bye. But I mean, this guy is a, I mean, you wouldn't even get rid of these off the field. They're rank 8s and these are rank 4s. I mean, you have a Malevolent Sin, and I don't even really know what else you would want to do with the deck. I mean, you could almost kind of run it without actually touching. Yeah, for some of the skills that actually got leaked out, some of the names of them, let's see here. Looks like they're adding some stuff to other characters as well. There's the one called Shooting Star Road, Special Clear Mind, Take Flight, Power of Hope. Then there's one called Synchro Destroyer 1, Synchro Destroyer 2. I'll Squash You Like a Pest. Weisel Combined, Synchro Destroyer 3, Castle of Machines, Gathering of Ghosts, Mech Lord Emperor Human, Hearts Separation Weisel, Hearts Replacement Weisel. Pretty hilarious, some of these names. So Life Point Boost Alpha is like what we currently have, but he's clearly gonna have some cards that skills that just abuse the Weisel archetype, hopefully. I actually like the trend. Of yeah. But that's the whole list of all of them. But I imagine it would be something pretty strong for the archetype, even if we just use the Xyz characters, and Timony, and even the update. I think Onomat actually got a buff from their skill change. But I think it's gonna make it pretty strong, pretty consistent, to be honest. What is in here? Card type. These. Here. I didn't know Antidote Nurse was a specific card. It's pretty funny. Like, is there anything actually interesting in here? Any warriors? Maybe a Daigasto? Not really much you would actually want to put in here. You might want to keep a window from hitting the graveyard. You know what? I forgot about this dude. Oh, it's Evil Swarms, that's why. What's the... Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card. This face-up card is unaffected by other monster effects this turn. Yeah, that's a good speculation. They've been sitting on structure decks for a while. Yeah, but with new Stardust cards and some of the skills that are in there, or leaks that have taken place for it, I wouldn't be surprised by it. anytime we get around this season, I call it anime season. So you'll start to see a lot more of those kind of character specific archetypes and decks get pushed a little more. Jin, this extra deck is like not even a thing, but maybe heraldry in here. I'm just throwing it together, and then can maybe like a corn just to be filler. Maybe. Maybe. But right now I would run Desperado package. 3, 3, and then run these side by side. Like I said, who knows? We may only get one, we may get two, or they actually may give us all three. They may treat it like what's his name? Where's that TG? They may treat it like TG Striker and just give us all three, which would be amazing. Now, the only thing about I would love to test this, but most peeps on here are not playing Duel Links version. It's more like for TCG setup. OCG. Yeah. All right, what else was in here? I'm excited though. I would try to figure out how to use Stardust again. That trap card loop that we were looking at earlier, sort of mimicking Scrap Iron Scarecrow from the like destruction negation. That's pretty cool. I also have to figure out how I would use Wonder Magician and switch up my deck a little bit. That's pretty much the only thing that I'm excited for. Then there's tuning. If I go and look at, do I even have this in here right now? So my current deck, let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to try to recreate my deck on the fly and then see how it can be changed by the update. I think I have like one red warg. I even have like 2 or 3 of this guy. Maybe it's 3. And then Wild Wind. Yeah, there you go. And then is it Flare? What's the old dude's name? Red Sprinter, okay. All right, and what else do I have in here? So I'm just trying to think of the old. I know I had a Bionic in here. And then I had you, and what is this card? Yeesh. There are a bunch of these. There you go. It's like, why is the other one like nowhere in sight? What are my last two? I think I might even have had a what's the name of that moose? All right. Forgetting cards already. Let's go back to Dark Dragon. Infernity Doom Dragon. Now, this is a Dark Tuner. Am I actually using this? No. I'm not using that because it has Dark Tuner. So there's no way I didn't have that in here. Where's my... All right, let me find this for a second. All right, I gotta fire up Duel Links for a second here. I haven't used this deck in a long time, so I'm trying to see how the new cards, like what changes I can make. Yeah, I'm in no way adding Red Nova Dragon to this deck when it comes out. It's too resource intensive to have that one monster on board, and then there's no protection for it. The problem with the deck as it is, these monsters will end up locking you into dark dragons. So what I'm gonna have to do when getting this box is go for other darks, because these tuners aren't dark, I don't think. Let me see. Where's Crimson Res? Is Crimson Resonator dark? Crimson Resonator is dark. So yeah, I actually probably would be able to leave that. I would be able to put Infernity Doom in there, but my hand would have to be empty. But it is an option. Another red dragon is nice. Let me go find what I currently have since I have it up now. Yeah, there we go. Show me. Ooh, I had tuning. That's what was going on in the deck. I had level tuning. All right, so I had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, this this deck is cosmic. I can make a lot of adjustments to this. Resonant. And then what else did I have? And I had offerings and Skullmeister. And then just so you can see exactly where this build currently is. Oh yeah, and I had an aqua dolphin and 2 of those. 1/1. White aura, excuse me. And then yeah. So this is where this build currently is. Like, if we look at even the cards that I have in here, it tells you, it very much tells you exactly what was going on when I built this deck. Yeah. So I have 1/1. Then there's a Brionic, and then the white R in here is because of the Force Resonator, which actually happened a few times, getting that effect off. Then there's 2 of these guys, and there's 1 Trishula. So when this was, I think I was using this during an event a while back, and this thing completely was filled with Floodgate Trap Hole. So this is why the Trishula is in here. And then the Skullmeister, because it's a fiend, during that event, and you can ditch this and stop graveyard effects. Offerings to the Doomed, the Resonant Destruction, and the Cosmic Cyclones, because it was back row heavy. And then there's the Resonator, the Sprinter. The only way to search, let me save this, RDA original. So the only way to search out of this thing was the Wandering King, Wild King. That was it. And now, of course, even as you guys were suggesting on here, we can, of course, do a lot more. First, there's no. I mean, I like these cards. This was in here for like the turn 1. So that way I wouldn't have to go into Red Rising. I could just go straight into Red Dragon Archfiend. But even now, if we go back and there's Crimson Resonator, and that's just a free special summon. So where is it at? And it's a dark. And it's a free special summon. So I still like this tech. But honestly, it's like a, I mean, it'd be a side card. 2 of these would automatically just go in here. Maybe even 3. If you control no monsters, you can special summon it. Probably. There's no reason to leave Cyclones in here either. Oops. What else was in here? Resonator Call. That's right. Automatically 3 Resonator Call. But then that lowers the amount of resonators that you necessarily need to run at 3. Because you can just add 1. So you take out, so that leaves you with 2, 2, and then 3 of these. And then you can just search for it. You would add another Red Nova or a level 8 Synchro. So yeah, Trishula is not needed in here. I do like the Doom. What does this guy say? When this card Synchro Summon, you can target 1 Resonator. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate it, except the Dark Dragon Synchro monsters. It depends on the hand. The easier card would be this Dark End. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls. This card loses 500 attack and defense, and you send that target to the graveyard instead of destroying it. So that's the clear card that goes in the deck. 2 of these, a Brio is definitely something you want to keep. Maybe even take this R Dolphin out just to put in another okay, where are you? There you go. I think that's fair. And make sure there's no other card in the box that really, I think there was like a Chain Resonator that I was interested in. Oh, no, it's a level 1. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 Resonator monster from your deck. Yeah, let me go back to Chain. This card is normal summon while a synchro monster on the field. Summon. Nah, I don't know. I don't think we'll use Chain. This chain's a level 1. Chain would be useful. No, not even in the Majestic. Yeah, you have 3 of these guys, 2 of these guys. This will let you skip straight into the war, the red one, or you would take this one out and then you would put in another red sprinter. Yeah, I like this. I would rock this first. So you have these 2, because I still think their skills are useful. Like you can special summon with this one, you can add life points. This one, you can target one face-up monster you control, and your opponent can't activate cards or effects that target it until the end of the damage step. These guys will search when it's in the graveyard, and it can special summon when one of these is on the field. And then this one, if you control no other monsters when it's summoned, then you can special summon one of your Resonators, which you'll always be able to find. And then you have the Resonant Destruction. I mean, I guess if anything, you could switch this out. If you're going turn 1, you could then put the other trap card that we just were talking about, because all of what you're going to summon in the end is a dark monster, right? So you would swap out your Resonant Destructions if you were going to go that way. So it depends on how you're seeing your duel. If you were going to be a little more if you were setting up more focused on turn 1, I would say like this is the way to go, just from this. But if you were going turn 2, honestly, I would say ditch these and then bring back your Resonant. I don't know why it's not helping. Or stick 2 of these in here. And that would be the other way I could see that happening. Like if you were going straight turn 2, I'm going to wipe everything out, use Resonant Destruction, get rid of all the back row, activate this on the field, and as you are doing your synchro plays, blow up their monsters on the field, and then go into the Bane and then summon this guy. That could be an OTK play. But 1 is definitely more turn 2 focused, but it leaves you wide open. Yeah, it leaves you wide open. And then the other one is probably a little more competitive in the sense that you're going to have at least a turn 1 play with some kind of back row setup. But I'll end it right there for now. This is all the fun and speculation I want to put towards it as these things will unfold. But it's time to go. So I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. I hope that you have a wonderful day. And hopefully I'll see you again this week, maybe. But again, appreciate you for spending the time. I hope you're excited about the new box. Potentially, we know the event is coming, so I hope you're excited about that. Until next time, take care. This has been Agent R. Prove your meta.